What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for June 16th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery, and no matter where it is, turn heads at your next gathering. Bring the hype with your custom hype chain from Lotwin. These things are perfect for youth sports, fantasy football, or just showing off your pride, bachelor parties, whatever you need. These custom hype chains are the best. Go to lotwin.com, use the promo code TCCPOD to take 10% off of your order. It's go to lotwin.com, use the promo code, and get hype. All right, so it's Monday. We're going to kick off a new segment since we are going Monday through Friday starting this week. The new segment is going to be Rewind the Weekend, where we take a look back and see what we missed over the weekend. This is going to be sponsored by Philly Goat. And as you know, I've been talking about Philly Goat for a while. They got you covered. Father's Day was yesterday, but it's still not too late to get something for Dad. When it comes to Philly sports apparel and just items, they have you covered. Go to phillygoat.com. Use that promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, so obviously let's start with the Phils. Swept the Blue Jays this weekend and looked pretty damn good doing it. Yesterday, they completed the sweep, winning 11-4. Zach Wheeler was just Zach Wheeler. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts. We got Castellanos hitting bombs, hit a grand slam, almost hit another one out. Otto Kemp, I'm a big Otto Kemp fan. We were talking about this. It was in a discussion on Twitter yesterday after the game, and I really, really like Otto Kemp. And I think he's bringing some of that energy and the vibes that the team needed. And I hope once Bryce comes back, they're able to figure out a way to keep him in the lineup because, he's not necessarily an outfielder, but he's the energy. Like, it's just a whole different vibe. And that's, I think, when this team was at their best over the past couple of years, that's where they've been. So, big Otto Kemp fan. 2 RBI, 3 runs scored yesterday. Bomer's hitting home runs. Stott, not so much. He was the only one who did not get a hit in the starting lineup yesterday. But that's all right. Going down to Florida now. The Phillies have, and I haven't checked this in a couple weeks, but I feel like they have one of the worst records against teams under 500, and they're doing well against the teams over 500. And they're going down to Miami to take on the Marlins. So we'll see what happens. But Mick Abel's on the mound tonight against Sandy Alcantara. Should be a series where the Phillies take 2 out of 4, but you never know. Teams like the Marlins and Nationals seem to catch them. But Phillies with a sweep of the Blue Jays this weekend, looking pretty good. If you missed this on Saturday, we talked about it on the show yesterday. Union with essentially a walk-off, a buzzer beater, whatever the soccer equivalent is. That's what they had the other night against Charlotte, scoring in the 98th minute of extra time. And no sooner did they score, the refs were blowing the whistle to end the game. They've now gone 12 straight games without a loss and have the best record in the MLS. And this, I don't know if this was Saturday or this happened yesterday, but the other day I was talking to you about Upper Dublin winning the PIAA 5A championship. Well, North Penn was in the 6A championship against Cedar Cliff and lost in extra innings. Lost the state title game because of a balk. Umpire called a balk in the bottom of the 13th inning to end the game. Could you imagine losing the state champion? I mean, now I've seen the replays. It looked close enough to a balk, and you got to call it. But man, what a crappy way to lose the state championship game. But that was the Rewind the Weekend. What happened this weekend? What you may have missed. All sponsored by and brought to you by Philly Goat. Use the promo code to take 10% off your order and show your Philly pride at Philly Goat. We will kind of work through this. Again, I feel a little off today because kind of in the process of doing all this, I'm tweaking the sort of format and flow of the way I'm used to. But that's all right. We'll get it down. But Rewind the Weekend, sponsored by Philly Goat every Monday on this day in Philly sports history. All right, well, let's knock out some housekeeping, though. This I know I got. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok, on Instagram at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. You've already heard Rewind the Weekend. Some new tweaks, like I said, trying to clean things up and make sort of more everything kind of flow better. And obviously the first week or so, it is going to be messy because I'm used to being in my flow. But obviously no more weekends. Yesterday was our last weekend show, shifting to Monday through Friday. And essentially, people have been asking me about this. It's not to get rid of this show at all. I actually, if anything, it's going to expand it. But I want to get back into doing some more interviews. And I told you about the Eagles pregame show. So it's more just to free up some time that way. But Rewind the Weekend will be every Monday. Tuesday, we're still going to do our positivity motivation like we always do. There might be a little bit of an addition to that as well. What If Wednesday, where kind of go back to the roots of this show. And if you're a longtime listener, you know I was in the process of writing a book. Kind of had writer's block, and that was part of what spurred the whole podcast thing to me. And then I just figured I haven't gone back to the book yet because it's been so much sort of more of a creative outlet doing the podcast. So What If Wednesdays, where we just take a look at random what ifs throughout Philly sports history. Throwback Thursdays, kind of the catch-all. Sometimes, who knows what we're going to be talking about. That's probably where we're going to have a lot of our themed throughout the month and things like that. But just kind of looking at players, draft picks, teams, errors, whatever. It's kind of like I said, the catch-all. And then, of course, Fridays with AI, where we ask AI to rewrite Philly sports history. And again, it's mostly to tighten things up. And like I said, until I actually get some of these things recorded and everything, it's going to be wonky a little bit. But thank you for bearing with me. And I also want to say happy anniversary to my parents today. They were married for now... I can't do the math in my head, but kudos to them. They are 47 years, I guess. Yeah. So happy 47th anniversary, Mom and Dad. All right. Yesterday, I also always like to make sure I'm giving you the accurate information. We talked about the Sixers being knocked out by the Lakers in Game 5 of the NBA Finals in 2001. I said the Lakers had the best playoff winning percentage. They did at that time. They beat the Sixers 82-83 team, who went 12-1. That Lakers team in 2001 went 15-1. However, the 2016-2017 Warriors actually went 16-1 to have the best record. So the Lakers didn't know that. I wanted to make sure I cleared that up. And as I was listening back, I think I inversed the immaculate innings in Philly baseball. The A's had 4 while they were in Philly, and the Phillies had 5, including Andy Ashby's that we talked about yesterday. So that was yesterday's trivia question. What other pitchers besides Ashby had an immaculate inning in Phillies history? Robin Roberts did it in 1956. Bill Wilson in 1971. Ashby did it in 91. Juan Perez did it in 2011, and Cole Hamels in 2014. Thank you to everybody who reached out. Go hit me up on the social media as well as the Discord channel, which is the first clip or first link in the description. Had a lot of good Philly sports talk and chats yesterday on that. There will be another trivia question later here in the show. And of course, if you're going down to the shore this summer, you got to let Beach Caddy take the stress out of it. In Ocean City, Seattle, Avalon, Stone Harbor, or Wildwood, they got you covered. Whether it's the move-in, move-out, bellhop service, or the beach carts, they have you covered. They take the stress out of it. Who wants to move everything in after you've been sitting in the car in traffic all day? Let Beach Caddy move you in, move you out. And then, of course, the best beach carts on the Jersey Shore. Nice big wheels, get you gliding over the sand like it's nothing. Go to beachcaddy.app, use the promo code Jimbo to take 10% off of your bellhop service as well as your beach cart rental, and let Beach Caddy. Take the stress out of your Jersey Shore vacation. Available in Ocean City, Sea Isle, Avalon, Stone Harbor, and Wildwood. All right, June 16th. The NBA draft is in about 10 days. Unfortunately, we got to go here. And we're going to go back to 1986. And this may be the worst draft experience. I can't even call it trade, pick, anything in Sixers history. And we're talking about a team that drafted Clarence Witherspoon, Sean Bradley, Sharon Wright, Markelle Fultz. The whole process era, none of those have anything on this day in Sixers history. Sixers went into the 1986 NBA draft with the number 1 overall pick, who was expected to be Brad Daugherty. Add him to a team that already had Mo Cheeks. You had, sure, he was a little bit injured, but Andrew Toney was still around. You had Barkley, Moses. It would have been the perfect kind of player to plug in on this team. You had an aging Dr. J, so you did need to replace him as well. But, I mean, everybody knew Brad Daugherty was the first pick in the 86 draft. Of course they screwed it up. They absolutely screwed this up. So not one, but 2 bonehead moves on this day in 1986. First, they traded the number 1 pick to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Roy Hinson and cash. Roy Hinson ended up playing in 105 games for the Sixers, averaged 13.3 points per game. Brad Daugherty only played 8 years, 19 points a game, almost 10 rebounds. Oh, and then he was a 5-time All-Star. So if that alone would have been bad enough, then they did the unthinkable and traded Moses Malone and Terry Catledge and 2 future draft picks. Listen to this. They traded Terry Catledge, Moses Malone, and 2 future round draft picks to the Bullets, which are the Wizards now, for Cliff Robinson and Jeff Ruland. Now, why? They wanted to get younger and faster. And to be honest, Jeff Ruland was only like 2 or 3 years younger than Moses Malone. Moses was only 31, but he was coming off. The Sixers thought they were done. He was coming off an orbital bone fracture, which today would look different than what it did back then. But he still would go on to play 9 more years and make 3 more All-Star teams. And what about Jeff Ruland? 5 games and then officially retired. Did come back 4 years later, played 13 more games, but no. It just knee problems ended Jeff Ruland's career. And as far as Cliff Robinson, we got Cliff, not Clifford. Clifford Robinson, who played for the Blazers, that would have been the Cliff Robinson we wanted. We didn't get that Cliff. And truthfully, the Sixers haven't been right since. But on this day, back in 1986, Sixers traded the number 1 pick and Moses Malone essentially for some cash, Roy Hinson, Jeff Ruland, and Cliff Robinson. Worst day in Sixers draft history. But then we do have a couple quick hitters here going with the Phillies and then some PGA golf. In 2010, Phils beat the Yankees 6-3. Jamie Moore went 8 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Gave up a home run, though, to Robinson Cano in the 2nd inning. It was the 42nd different home run that Jamie Moore had given up a home run in, which, as far as I could tell, is a Major League Baseball record. A stat like that is pretty random, but the 42nd different stadium that Jamie Moore gave up a home run in. And then in 2013, Justin Rose overcame a 2-shot deficit to Phil Mickelson to win the U.S. Open at Merion. Rose shot an even par on the final round, completed the tournament with no double bogeys, and it was the 6th time that Phil was a runner-up and still hasn't been that close since then. But Justin Rose winning the U.S. Open at Merion on this day in 2013, coming from 2 strokes back to take down Phil. That does lead to today's trivia question, though. Jamie Moore has given up home runs in 42 different ballparks. But what Major League pitcher has given up the most home runs in total in their career? hit me up on the Discord. Hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. Discord, social media, wherever. But what Major League Baseball pitcher has given up the most home runs in their career? And then finally today, our greatest individual season in Phillies sports history tournament. Yesterday we had a Phillies regional matchup, and it was Dick Allen with 100% unanimously beating Dick Allen from 1966, beating Robin Roberts from 1953. He will move on, and they are now into the second round of that tournament. We finished up our last first round matchup here in the Flyers region today. We got a 5-12 matchup. Number 5, Bobby Clarke, 75-76. Set a team record at the time with 119 points. Led the league with 89 assists. And also led the league with a plus-minus of 83. Winning his third straight Hart Trophy. However, for the Flyers, they would get swept by the Canadiens in the Stanley Cup Finals, ending any chance they had of a three-peat. He's taking on the number 12 seed, Claude Giroux from 2017-18. 102 points, led the league with 68 assists. He was an all-star, second-team All-NHL. Flyers were the 6th seed that year, losing to the Penguins in the playoffs. But now it's your turn. Which season was better? Bobby Clarke in 75-76, Claude Giroux in 17-18. Get your vote in however you can, and we'll get it done. I want to give a huge shout out to the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network. Great things happening on their Sports Fan Network. Go to clashingconferences.com for details on how you can get involved, how you can join, and what they have to offer, even if it's media services. And then be sure to check out the new podcast anywhere you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube every Thursday and Friday. All right, on this day in 2013, Justin Rose won the U.S. Open in Marion. Jamie Moyer gave up his home run in his 42nd different stadium in Major League Baseball, which I think is a Major League record. It's pretty impressive, though. But Jamie Moyer, 42 stadiums. But who holds the record for most home runs given up in a career by a pitcher? That is today's trivia question. On this day in 1986, it was quite possibly the worst day in Sixers draft history, as they traded not only Moses Malone, but the number 1 overall pick for Roy Hinson, who, yeah, exactly, he was Roy Hinson. Jeff Ruland, who played 5 games with the Sixers, and Cliff, not Clifford. We got Cliff. I would have loved to have had Clifford, but nope, we got stuck with Cliff. God rest both of their souls, since they're no longer with us, though. All right, new format, kind of. I apologize for the wonkiness. Like I said, it's just it never really realized this. So in a flow with the podcast, we'll have it more streamlined and get better as we go. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Obviously, Tuesday positivity / motivation. That is not going anywhere. But this has been This Day in Philly Sports History for June 16th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Monday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.